In this video, we'll look at a basic introduction to concepts with exponents. And so the first one is that if you're rooting something, then the way you change it from a surd to an exponent is it's the power that it has divided by the rooting. So this one was the cube root of x to the power of 7. It becomes 7 over 3. Be careful if you have something like this, that the 5 is its own big number, and so it would just stay as is, and it's only the exact term that's being rooted that would be the power that it has over the rooting. So look out for that. The second concept is the power to the power you multiply, and so this doesn't become x to the 5. It becomes x to the 6 because you times the powers together. The way I remember it is because they're separated by a bracket, you multiply. If you had a number like something like that, then either you can think the number I do that exact powering, so 2 to the power of 3, and you get an answer, or you could say this has a power of 1 at the moment because there's nothing there, so it's like the same concept, timesing the power by the power, timesing the power by the power, and then what is 2 to the 3? It's just 8, and so that would be your answer. The next concept is to bring powers up, or actually to take them down, you change the sign. And so if you had x to the minus 1 over, let's just keep it simple, like that, then if you move that x to the bottom, it would change the sign and become positive. If you move that negative y to the power of 3 to the top, it would just become y to the positive power of 3. So anytime that you move powers across, you change the sign. Just be careful if you had something like that and you wanted to use the same logic and say, oh, I can just move this to the bottom. You can't straight away move it to the bottom if you separate by plus or minus. And so in this case, I'm not going to do the entire question, but you'd have to make just this its own to the bottom. So you'd have to make it its own fraction, and this would be y over x, 1 over y squared over 6. And then you'd have to get an LCD on the top line. I would probably put 6 over 1 and then tip and times, and I would times this to the top. So let's actually do it just for fun. So the LCD would be xy squared. So the y, this needs a y squared. This needs an x. And it would all be over xy squared. And like I said, if this is 6 over 1, I would tip and times, so it would become 1 over 6. And so your final answer to this quick little made up question would be that. So just look out for that little subtle trick of not just straight away moving them up and down and changing the sign if there's a plus or minus separating. And the last concept for this video is anything to the power of 0 is 1. And so if it was just 7 to 0, it's 1. If it's p to 0, it's 1. If it's in brackets 7p to the power of 0, then that whole term to the 0 just becomes 1. If I had 7p to 0, it would be 7, and just the p to the 0 would become 1. And so those are some variations of that. I hope that you found that helpful. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Thanks.